son just purchased a repossession or a house, and this old 1970s vintage chandelier of sorts was hanging in there, and he wants to they're going for the canning jar rustic patina in their place, and so we got the idea of putting these canning jars on there. I don't know if they've seen this online or what they did, but so the idea was to put these canning jars on here upside down and then just put the light bulbs inside here. And so when you want to go change out the light bulbs, you just unscrew these, change the light bulb out, and put them back on. And you can get these little rustic looking zinc imitation lids, and we're going to mount them on top of here. So I got to drill a hole in the center of these to fit over top of this fixture here.
So you're going to use the pewter colored ones or the copper colored ones?
I was looking at these ones. I think they match better. The copper looking ones look better, but we don't have to use those.
It doesn't matter. I'm just curious which ones you decided on. The copper ones do match better.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I was finding center and on these, and I don't know if anybody has experienced these things before, but when he bought the house, this didn't have any, to the best of my knowledge, it didn't have any covers over top of these fixtures, and incidentally it got filled up with dust and little bits of bugs and everything else. So I'm going to take a pressure, or take some air and blow that out. Clean them out some. Yeah. And I'll do that with the rest of them.
I think I got bug bits on me.
Ah,
nasty.
Right on. I didn't do that intentionally.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying that to be
But
funny.
see how that's shaped right there? So when I blow the air in there, it all comes back out at you. How convenient is that, huh? So anyway, what I'll do is I'll shorten this chain up, shorten the wire up, make all this close together to where it hangs where they want it, and get rid of all that garbage. And then, I don't know if anybody's interested, but I'll show you how I find center on a circle. So I have a little carpenter square here, a little speed square,
here.
and just one of these little squares here. And what I'll do is I'll put the 45 side within the 90, and I'll leave just enough room for the width of the Sharpie here, or felt tip pen. The width of the you'll have the width of the felt tip on here will fit right next to the straight edge on this square. And so when I go to scribe a line, that the line that comes off of the pin will be in the dead center, coming off of the the corner of this 90. So I find that, and I take these little clamps here and I clamp that on secure, and I take a lid. This is not the lid that I'll use the copper ones, and I just hold it in place. It's kind of like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at the same time. And so then I'll scribe a line here, rotate the lid or the circle, scribe another line, rotate, scribe another line. The third line will just verify the last two. Technically you can just put two lines on there and it'll be center. But you can see that all three lines will match or merge to the center of the circle. when you use this type of application. They do make these types of squares here that has another part that comes off of here like this, to where you can find center of like a top of a 4x4 foot or 4x4 post or whatever like that, if you're wanting the center of that, or if you're doing any work on your wood lathe, you'll want to find center when you're doing your wood lathe work. So I didn't hurt myself. I made one. Already got one put together, and it fits nicely over the top of this gizmo. I'll show you how they can change the light bulb in it. I'll get some heat-proof adhesive and stick on here. That goes on there just like that. And then when they want to change the light bulb, they take this off. When they put the light bulb back in there, they just put this back on. Do one like that, and it'll be good to go.
Let me get a close-up of that, how that looks on there.
Like so.
That's gonna be so cool.
Are you following me?
Trying to.
Okay. So
That's
that.
gonna be
We just
amazing.
have to get a heat resistant glue that'll withstand warmth, you know, RTV or something, to put inside here and along the edge of the fixture. It'll actually be a lot better setup than what's here now. It'll be a lot more robust. So I'll show you how we
We're all about robust.
robust. You don't want it busting. So
Excuse me.
another one of these centers.
Zoom in a little bit. See if I can zoom in slow. I'm not real good at handling this zoom thing. Okay, I guess I'm going a little too slow because it's not moving. There we go.
We got center. Then I just got a hole saw set up on the band, or on the drill press over here. I don't know if you want to follow me over there. Here I'm at the drill press, and I got my center on my lid and started up. Careful not to apply too much pressure because that's such thin metal. If you push too hard, you'll dent the lid and you'll disfigure it. So now we have to take the coupon out, and it's done. All I have to do is smooth up the inside of that with a chainsaw file, and it'll be ready to install.
Very cool.
Here's the coupon.
Is that what
There's
you
my
call
center.
those?
Well, now I got all these guys cut out and just placed on there for the moment. I have to get some heat resistant adhesive, and I'll put that on the bottom of the lid, and on the inside of the lid when I secure it flat against this fixture here. And they're going to be burning LED lights in there, and so it's not going to get hot anyway, but I want to make it to where if somebody does put a 60-watt bulb in there, incandescent, it'll withstand the heat of that. And so this will be a lot sturdier than it was when it was actually built. So now we're going to shorten up this chain here, get rid of all this excess garbage. This was designed to where you can adjust the height of the chandelier depending on how high your ceiling was or how low you wanted this to hang. So I'll just remove these professionally installed zip ties. And then what I'll have to do is bend this out. Take this link off of here. Do the same with this one. Actually, I'll leave this one on. This will be the one that we keep. Take that off of there. So we'll have to temporarily remove the wire. Get rid of all that stuff, if I can. Oh, they got all kinds of wire in here. Zip ties.
Goodness.
Wires. Key rings. Bread sack ties.
Are you serious?
Well, it wasn't going anywhere, that's for sure. Like that. If you hear any crunching, it's my wife eating apples.
I'm trying to be quiet. We have a lot of apples on the tree. I'm trying to use them up.
So now, that should come off of there. Well, 3 hours later, I got that big chunk of chain off of there. Yeah, just kidding. And so now I got to thread all this back together again. So we just reverse what we did earlier, making sure we got everything put on the correct way. So then we'll have a lot of excess wire, and I'll cut that off when I go to put this back up in their dining room. Make sure you don't skin the sheathing on the wire if you do this. Thank you, dear. So now I have one link left. And I'll put that back onto that eye and make sure that gets shut tight. Well, we're back in business. Now I'll be able to suspend that from that single deal there. And these will go on top of that. When I get to another step, I'll get some more video. Well, hey again, if I look long enough and hard enough, I'll find it in the shop. I usually end up buying two if I buy one just in case I need it. Well, today I need it. So this is just some similar to RTV. It's RTV silicone. And it's got a heat resistance factor in it for engines and different things. It resists temperature up to 500 degrees. I think that'll be fine for this application. So I got this. I'll open it up. It's got a little perforation thing in the end of the cap to open up the tube here. Whoops. And it's got an end you got to clip off of it. Now you like putting a little bit of an angle on there, it's easier to squeeze out. So anyway, what we'll do is make sure that those are flat on top of there. Then I'll take my Sharpie and just scribe a line around the circumference or perimeter of this fixture and pull this off. And that line will tell me where I can put the RTV or put a little bead of RTV on the bottom side of this. So we can put some on the around the bottom there a little bit. Basically subduing the line, covering up the line. Then I'll put a little bit around the inside, but just above to where the top of the lid will set up on top of that. So it'll be around the bottom edge of there. So we'll set that right on top of there like that. Mush it around a little bit. Then put a bead on the inside. I don't know if you can see that. That straight. And just put a small bead around the inside of that. And that'll hold that all in place. Now you'll never see this bead inside of here because this is hanging up. So you'll never see any adhesive when the fixture is suspended. So, finished product looks like so. I don't know if you can see that or not with the lighting the way it is. So we'll do all the rest of those. I got 4 more to go, and I'll let those dry, and that'll be ready to be put in service.
Well, I figure I'll get in help. I'm going back and forth between helping Patrick and getting my chores done, but want to get a little close-up of what he's doing here. Yeah, let's see if I'm going to move in a little bit closer, so watch where you step, Patrick. Good.
Just putting a little RTV just above that line I put on there so I know where to put the RTV. And I slip that on top of that. Whoop, forgot to put some on the outer edge here. That'll help to stabilize this, the weight of the jar, that when it sits on, the jar sits on top of this thing, it'll just be a little bit more secure and stable.
This is going to be so cool. That must have been Kayla's idea.
Yeah, she's wanting the whole jar thing. Well, she went to a garage sale and got this fixture that I'm not sure was very popular to everybody in the house. And I think it was Ryan's idea. I'm not sure, but Kayla likes the whole rustic look, and I think Ryan actually came up with the idea of doing this. I don't know if he's seen it someplace, or you can find just about anything on YouTube anymore. And so I kind of came up with the idea of doing it this way, to where we can fasten those on there. Oops, didn't put my line on there, Mama. Well, for any of you guys that know any better, typically I like to roll up my tube. If it's made out of aluminum, I like to roll my tube up from the bottom and then use it to squirt on the inside here. You have a lot better control. I kind of got involved with trying to show everybody what I was doing instead of rolling this thing up from the bottom like I generally like to do. And so if, you know, I'm putting these videos out with the assumption that some people may know this, some people might not, but that makes life a little easier if you can just keep rolling up from the bottom, and that way your tube stays full, and when you go to squeeze that in there, it's a lot easier to work. So also inside here there's some little screws here that secure these, and most of those were loose, so I tightened all those back up, and I'll put a little bit of no locks on there. It's just basically an antioxidant, and I'll put a little bit of that in there on top of the fixture there, just to keep it lubricated, keep it from oxidizing. So anywhere, hey, that's another little tip in case anybody doesn't know much about this stuff. I'm just assuming that I'm putting these videos together here. Heidi, she was wanting me to get involved with this a little bit, so there you go. Anyhow, hope you enjoyed. So I decided to go ahead and put some Watco Danish Oil on here. I've had this can for several years, and you shake it up. Use this in a well ventilated area, and make sure you wear your PPE. And so basically all this Danish oil is bringing out the luster back out in this wood here that hasn't been treated for, well, ever since 1977. And wants to make sure that you protect yourself when you're doing these kinds of things. A little disclaimer for you. And that just brings the luster back out in things. It's not glossy. It's a semi-gloss or a matte or satin finish that comes out on this. So I'm going to try to get right here, get in the corners real well with on the edges, and that just brings the life back up in this metal and in this wood. So that's all I'm doing here. Well, here's the final product. We got the jars and everything on there. The RTV is setting up on the inside of this. I'll let it hang in the shop for 24 hours and give it to the brat. All they gotta do is just put their LED lights in there and hang it over. Well, I'll be the one that hangs it over their dining room table. But anyways, there it is.
Very nice. All right, all. Thanks for watching. God bless.